Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. It's Monkey in the Morning. I'm Monk, and boy, am I annoyed right now. I don't know if annoyed is the right word. Disappointed, disgusted, um, irritable, annoyed. Yeah, annoyed works. How are you guys? Physically, I'm pretty good. A little bit of rumbling has started in my back, but it'll pass and I'll be fine. But I just watched the Netflix Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight. If you don't want to know about it, you should leave now. Sorry, because we're going to talk about it. Um, and not just that though. It wasn't just that fight. So I missed the first fight, right? I don't really care about it because it's undercards. Nobody ever cares about those. And apparently, it was an amateur fight. Which why the fuck do you have amateur fights on a pro fighting event? Whatever, I suppose. Um, but I tuned in for the second fight, and it was Barrios versus Ramos, and it was a good fight. It was a fun fight. I disagreed with the commentators because they were like, Barrios is doing really good, and he's just a jabber, and I hate people who just run around the ring throwing jabs. The jab is supposed to be a setup punch. You throw it so that you can follow it with a hook or an uppercut or something. You use it to tag him a couple of times to get some points, and then it's a setup. No, that's all he was doing. Now he's fighting so good, and immediately I'm annoyed because I'm hearing Rosie Perez is on there as a fight commentator. Roy Jones Jr. is the other one, and I forget who the white guy they had on there. The one who was doing his best impersonation of a boxing announcer. I love Roy Jones, but he's clearly taking a lot of shots in the head, and maybe he shouldn't be the one who's, you know, commentating on fights. Why do they always get boxers with brain damage to do the color commentary? Depends on the jab. It does depend on the jab. Somebody like Lennox Lewis could win a fight with his jab, but he had an unusual, very strong jab that he threw more like a lead than a jab. He threw more like a straight than a jab because it's like throwing a straight left. Was he left-handed though? So it would be a right for him. Um, his jab was a power punch, and normally it's not. But anyway, I the the very first thing I hear when I turn it on, it's actually before the fight has started, is Rosie Perez talking about the fight, uh, Barrios versus Ramos. And she says, go tell all your friends and your family to come watch because this is going to be a really good fight. And then she says, I'm like, isn't that right, Roy? And Roy goes, yeah, the unusual nature of this Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight means everybody should be watching it. And I was like, Roy, she's talking about the fight that's starting now. I had to miss the fight. Netflix kept crashing. They seem to have fixed it. It was really bad during the female fight, which we'll get to in a minute. I had a couple of moments where the fight was really pixelated and crappy looking during the Barrios fight. And then when the women were coming on, it was like God was telling me don't watch women fight because then it just started crashing completely. And I ended up missing probably the first half of the woman fight. But it was fine for me for the whole Tyson fight, which, God, you couldn't have saved me from that one. So anyway, I watched that fight and it was a good fight. It was a very close fight. And they announced the results because it goes to the decision. And it is a split draw. One of the judges called it even at 113. The other one called it for Ramos at 114 to 112. And then the other one called it for Barrios 116 to 110. I'm like, one of these things is not like the others. It was a close fight, and I could see it going either way. But to call it for Barrios 116 to give him that many rounds was just bullshit. And it's what's wrong with boxing. It's why nobody likes it. I'm just going to put this picture on the screen so we have something to look at. Um, it's why nobody likes when it has to go to the scorecards, because you have judges who have their favorites or are drinking, I don't know, smoking crack while they're supposed to be watching the fight. There's no way that fight was that one-sided. And all I can think is, like, you got so many eyes on boxing right now, and you did that. Now, being a split draw means basically nobody won the fight, so it didn't hurt anybody really. I personally think Ramos got cheated, but it is what it is. And if it had been a closer scorecard, if he had called it 114, 112 for Barrios, I get it. It's not how I like my fighters, but I can see it. But to have it so fucked up, it's the same thing that you get with like Olympic gymnastics or figure skating or anything else, or even like ski jumping and shit. Anything that relies on people giving their opinion of it, it's just way too easy for somebody to get cheated, where we can all watch what happened, and suddenly somebody gets a gold medal when they probably should have been kicked out. They were so bad. 116, 110 is the judge telling you it's fixed so they can keep their payment. I guess so. I don't know what match that guy was watching, but it gets better because then the girls start fighting. Now, I'm going to say some things that are going to offend some people. Girl fighting is boring as shit, okay? If I wanted to watch a slap fight, I would watch flyweight fighting. And while I will watch flyweight, it's never something that I seek out. It's like, oh, it's on. I guess I'll keep watching it. It's boring. And Roy Jones at the end of this thing had the fucking nerve to compare it to Ali Frazier. I'm like, are you kidding? It's two girls slap fighting. No, like, there's so much action. Yeah, you know why there's so much action in a female fight? It's because their punches don't hurt. Okay, I don't want to say they don't hurt at all. They're not dangerous. It's the same reason that flyweight and bantamweight and featherweight in the men's division are so fucking boring. You don't start to have good fights until you get into middle and welterweight, where they finally have a little bit of muscle and mass behind there, where there is the chance that these guys beat the fuck out of each other. They throw a lot more punches than heavyweights, and they still knock each other out. And they're like, no, girls it's so fun. It's the greatest. It's the fight of the year. And that'd be worse, or that could be bad enough, but it gets worse. Comrade Kitty, thank you. If Jack was here, he'd say, add mud and less cover. I don't know if he's a fan of mud wrestling, honestly. So the fight finally comes back on for me. And the one chick, I don't know their names, so I'm going to call them chick. I'm going to call them white chick and not white chick, because I don't know what the other chick was. White chick has apparently headbutted not white chick earlier in the fight. And busted her right across the bridge on the outside of your eye there. And it was nasty. And then a round later, she punches her in it and just rips it right the fuck open. Honestly, I don't know how they kept that fight going. I have never seen an eye injury like that where they let it keep going. They're probably like, it's girls punching each other. It's not going to do too much damage. But the white girl kept headbutting. And there's a moment where she actually loses a point for it. She's been warned, hey, stop headbutting. And then she loses a point. And Rosie Perez and Roy Jones are both like, I don't understand why they took a point. That was an accidental headbutt. Excuse me, sorry. Just burped there. But if you watch where they actually took the point for headbutting, she's got her head rested on the other chick's shoulder and quite clearly just shoves her head to the side. It wasn't an incidental butt. She was trying to headbutt this chick. And so you got Roy, and I still don't know why Rosie Perez was there. The little white guy that was on the show doing commentary, he was like, the queen of boxing, and kept trying to promote her as somebody who knows something about boxing. But I didn't hear a goddamn thing out of Rosie all night that suggested she'd ever watched boxing before. But the real crime of that fight, of the girl fight, is the end. Goes to the judges, and white girl wins. Yay, white girls. Except there's no way she should have won that fight. Just the parts I watched, which was half the fight, she lost clearly. And she ends up with a decent sized win. And the entire arena is like, this is bullshit. And they do the post interview in the ring and shit. And the little white girl's like, I don't care if everybody disagrees. All that matters is what the judges think. And then they go over to not white girl, and she's like, that's a cheating bitch over there. Fuck these judges too. Actually, it was her man who was like, fuck these judges too. Check your money hole. Will do. I did not get an alert. Sorry about that. Da-da-da-da-da. Or if I did, it came through when the other one did there. Thank you, Evolved Potato. The women were wearing way too many clothes, and there was not enough jello for their fight to be entertaining. I don't find girls fighting to be entertaining. I just don't. It's unseemly. Misogyny. Yes. I am a misogynist. I'm not a racist though. I want to give her. You want me to call her off-white or kind of brown? I don't know what she was. She got robbed, and it was pretty fucking blatant. So now we've had the first fight, which again, I'm not really upset with the overall outcome of it. But you had the one judge who clearly fucked up. Either he is a big fan of Barrios, or somebody gave him some money in an envelope, in a darkened parking garage. I don't know what it was, but clearly he was not watching the same fight everyone else is. And then you have this girl fight, which has been hyped the fuck up because it's a rematch of a fight that a lot of people think the not white girl won the first time. So you got all of this hype around it. And you have another bad decision. This time, all of the judges agreed on the scorecard. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. Are you trying to make people hate boxing? And then it's time for the big event. Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. I was annoyed as a boxing fan watching the first couple of things that I've already described. But I've been a boxing fan for a long time, and that shit happens more often than it should. Some you just kind of learn to live with. Like, yeah, fuck these judges. They make NFL referees seem competent at their job. Jake Paul comes out with his brother in a car in an enclosed arena, slowly driving to In the Air Tonight by Phil Collins. Why? I don't know. And he gets out of the car and he walks into the ring, and then they show Mike. And it was at this moment that I was like, Mike is not going to win this fight. Mike's not going to win this. Somebody said Mike looks pissed. Mike looked worried, honestly. He looked scared. And I get it. His legacy's on the line there. Thank you, Donald Camp, for that feminist $12. Not White Girl's man started talking, and I muted it. But as you're always right, Internet Father, Jake looked bad no matter what. You should have kept listening, because the guy was just saying what everybody else was thinking. Like, this is bullshit. She's a cheating bitch, and the judges suck too. Mike looked old. Mike did look old. And I think that he realized that this could be really bad for him. And they get into the ring, and the bell rings, and you can see Mike still has power. Very early on in the fight, he catches Jake with what I'm not sure if it was a jab or a straight left. Again, could be either one, because it's the left arm, and you don't typically throw a straight left. You throw, your dominant hand for your straight punch. Can happen though. But either way, he catches Jake with it, and he knocks Jake back. It's not even a great punch that he throws, but he catches Jake and knocks him back like 8 feet. Mike still has power. What Mike didn't have was any speed or stamina. He landed an average of less than 4 punches per round. He averaged 3 punches per round landed. 3. And it was less than 3, actually, because 3 a round would have been 24 punches. And he landed less than 24 punches the whole fight. He was slow. He got caught a couple of times by Jake, which knocked him off balance. I don't think he was ever in any real trouble with Roy Jones thought he was, because Roy's brain-addled himself. So is what it is. But it was just pathetic. It was just pathetic. And I think even Jake Paul noticed, because by about round 7, he's not even really trying anymore. I don't think he was even really trying rounds 5 and 6, but definitely by 7, he wasn't even trying. And he was unusually subdued afterwards. I'm giving Jake Paul a lot of credit for bringing eyes to boxing. And I want to take all of that back, because he killed all of that tonight. With the other 2 issues in the fight, and then that horrible these are only 2-minute rounds. And Mike was winded by the end of the first, because he's almost 60. He still can punch really hard, but you're going to have to hold still for it to land. And after the fight, they asked him, is this officially the end for you? And he goes, I am not willing to say that. And the guy goes, well, do you think it might be? And he says, no. Mike, before you get killed in the ring, stop. Scam fight, I'll fight Jake Paul and win. It wasn't a scam. It was a stunt that should have never happened. And it just made it all the worse, because at the beginning of it, they played little videos of each of them, right? And Jake Paul's just all like, I'm going to kill this guy. He's older, but he's still Mike Tyson. Nobody who watched that fight is going to look at it and be like, oh, yeah, that's still Mike Tyson. Because boxing-wise, that was not still Mike Tyson. That wasn't even Mike Tyson at 40. Krim, thank you. Hi, Monk. Hi, chat. All I know about this fight was we saw Mike's ass. Yeah, they went to talk to Mike in the dressing room between fights, and he gets up and walks away, and you can see his ass, because all he's wearing is his groin protector. Unlike other sports where you just have a cup, in boxing, you actually have a whole padded pair of underwear, basically, thong underwear. And it protects all of your groin. And yeah, that's all he was wearing. And he walks off, and we get to see his ass. Yay. It was still cool to see him live. There was nothing cool about this. I hate to disagree with you there, Pirates, but that was just sad. What's up, Jack? How you doing, my friend?
I'm all right. How you doing?
I'm disappointed, disgusted, sad.
Oh, did Mike Tyson get beat up by a European?
Well, technically, an Ohioan. He's from your state.
Yeah, he looked like a Euro trash pimp.
Well, he often does. And yeah, Tyson got beat up by him. To Paul's credit, he probably could have put a serious hurting on Mike, and he didn't. I do want to give him a little bit of credit for that, because I think 5 years ago, Jake Paul would have done that, just beat the hell out of him. But I think you can even see it on his face in the fight that he realized how bad this looked.
That he's just beating on an old dude?
Yeah. That there was, I tried warning you, Jake, there was no winning for you here.
No, absolutely not.
One of 2 things was going to happen. You were going to get knocked out, which if Mike caught him just right, Mike definitely has the strength for it still. Or
you were old.
But even I didn't realize how bad this was going to look. It was not as bad as the Holyfield one, where he literally knocks himself out of the ring. Oh, Evander.
Yeah, but he's fucking old. I mean, what is Tyson, like 60?
He's 58, yeah.
58? Yeah. Look, I'm 50, and there's no way I'm anywhere near the prime. You know, you were in your prime in your 20s. It's time to accept that and move on. But 58 for a boxer is ancient. You might as well be fighting some, like, like that Herbert dude from Family Guy, the old pervert walking with the cane.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, High King Frenor. Wonder if Jake thought he was getting vintage Mike. I think he thought Mike would have still been formidable enough that he could get some clout and be able to say, yeah, I beat Mike Tyson, but not dangerous enough that he would get hurt. I don't think he expected Mike to be this.
Yeah, like I said, he's 58. He's on the downslope from middle age to elderly. And no matter how physically fit he is, he's lost a lot of steps for fighting.
His biggest problem, he does have an injury to his leg, and like a true warrior, when he was asked about it, he goes, yeah, there's something wrong, but I can't use that as an excuse for why I lost. Hey, millennials and younger, pay attention. He doesn't point to that as the thing at all, but I mean, as a boxer, having your legs not 100% is a big fucking issue.
Yeah.
But he's 58. He's slow. He's out of breath quickly. He goes back to the corner after the first round, and it looks like he's been fighting 10 rounds. Because he's 50 fucking 8.
Yeah, he's not only like got his usual aging issues, but he hasn't been fighting regularly.
Yeah.
He's lost a step in his craft as well as physically losing a step, you know. So it's not just that he's old, it's that he's old and he doesn't practice anymore.
And not just that, he's old, doesn't practice anymore, and he used to be a fighter. His job was getting punched in the head by very strong people, Jack.
Yeah, well, Tyson never was like an intellectual giant. I'm sorry.
No, but you break those connections that help with like movement and speed and thinking and
yeah.
Mike was always if you go back and watch vintage Mike, it was like he could see what they were throwing before they threw it and he was out of the way.
Yeah, he was an incredibly good fighter.
That did not happen. He slipped a few punches here, but they're Jake Paul punches. Whatever you think about Jake Paul's boxing, he really should go and just do amateur boxing for a while. He telegraphs his shots like a motherfucker.
Well, and he's constantly fighting people that he knows he has a good shot at beating.
Pyrus asks, how would Prime Tyson have done? He'd have killed him. Prime Tyson would have knocked Jake Paul out within 30 seconds, easily. Rocky Marciano's the GOAT. I mean, retired undefeated. That's back in the day when they let fat white guys box, though. They don't do that much anymore, Jack.
Yeah, it's not as exciting as it was in the old-timey days.
And again, these were 2-minute rounds. And so for him to look that worn out after the first round, if I wasn't already worried about him in his walk out there, that was enough to make, oh, God, please don't let Mike die in the ring.
I think Jake Paul would get an incredible amount of hate if Tyson died in the ring fighting him.
I think he's going to get a lot of hate for this anyway. I saw both Vivek Ramaswamy and one of the Krasensteins give hat tips to both of the fighters. I'm like, what?
Were you guys watching the fight? Because it's an old man getting beat up by somebody literally half his age.
Look, I tip my hat to Mike because that took balls, man. And maybe it's just the old warrior thing. He still thought he was the young, but I'll tip my hat to him. I'm not tipping my hat to the kid who beat up an old man.
Yeah, who should know better? Like, you're just beating an old man. Your overconfidence when you're young should tell you that this was stupid.
Yeah.
You're going to fight an old person? Wow, that'll make you look good, you dumbass. Oh, real quick. Thank you, Okie Native. Jack, the chat needs to know, where do you stand on nude or semi-nude women mud wrestling? And if they're Asian? Well, I prefer the Asian persuasion, of course. Semi-nude, I generally prefer mud wrestling because you don't want a chick that's going to have a bunch of mud caked in her cooch. It's not as sexy if you're like, I want to bang that chick, and the next thing you know, she's like got a crotch full of mud. So I would say semi-nude. Topless would be fine, but they should have panties on. They could even put pasties on their nipples so their nipples don't get all, gross and crusty. Nobody wants a crusty nipple.
Hiking for Nord, thank you so much. Foreman would have looked better than Mike did. Speaking of Foreman, even if you go back to when he fought and becomes the oldest heavyweight champion in the world at late 40s, I forget how old he was. He shouldn't have been boxing at the time. The only thing that saved him when he knocks out Michael Moorer is that he caught him and he could still knock you out with a single punch. If you watch the actual fights, he got his ass whipped over and over again and either won by points that he shouldn't have had, or like when he knocks out Michael, he just happened to catch him perfectly. Seal, thank you, but 20 million is 20 million. I understand Mike wanting the $20 million. I do.
Yeah, I like money.
I don't understand Jake thinking this was a good idea in the first place. Look, everybody wants to see Jake Paul get knocked out, and a classic Tyson knockout would probably give a collective boner to the entire world. But it would be much better if you want him to fight a real boxer, have him go fight Deontay Wilder. He's even gotten knocked out a couple of times, so he's off his game from the best that he was, but at least he's still somewhere near his prime. Have him go fight Tyson Fury if you want to fight a Tyson. Stop being a bitch and fighting old men and people who aren't boxers and then pretending that it's boxing. Boxing is dangerous. Something really bad could have happened here. I like the sport. I care about the sport. And what I saw today was just disgusting. Just disgusting. So, Jake Paul, go fuck yourself.
Real quick. Thank you, Vault Potato. As I said during the last stream, the doctor on this fight isn't on who is a better boxer. I'm sorry, the decider on this fight isn't who's a better boxer. It's whether or not Tyson's body is held up, and apparently it didn't.
For a 60-year-old man, he did fine.
Yeah, but if you're going to do that, have people of the same age range fight each other. Jake Paul being, in his mid to late 20s?
Yeah.
That's really unfair advantage physically, just in speed and power. Also, thank you, Frank. I don't normally watch boxing. I don't get it, but I watched this fight. I do recall watching him bite the ear off live when I was young and do enjoy MMA on occasion. I can still tell Mike looks slow and gassed. Was an expensive exhibition match.
BV says he did fine. What the fuck? I said for his age. That is a very important part if he did fine.
Yeah, for a 60-year-old dude, I'm sure it was okay, but
yeah, and if he was fighting another 58-year-old, he probably would have won. But that guy would have been moving as slowly as he was. So
if he was fighting some untrained like some dude that just stepped in the ring for the first time, he probably would have won. But Jake Paul's been in a couple fights, and he's a pretty buff dude. So I don't know. I think this is a terrible idea for Jake Paul. It's just reputationally damaging.
To him and the sport. And yeah, fuck you, Jake. Every goodwill that you brought to boxing was killed with that fight. And again, with the problems with the undercard, fuck, if I'd never watched boxing before and this was the first one I ever watched, I'd never watch again. I'd be like, this is it? I'm going to go watch MMA and watch guys hug each other.
Yeah. I want to watch gay foreplay.
Yeah, because at least they're close in age and it's not, a woman cheating and getting rewarded for it.
Yeah, what was with that? I missed that fight.
The female fight, the white girl was headbutting. She's Irish. Irish people like to headbutt. I don't know why. But yeah, she headbutted her opponent and busted her eye open nasty.
Oh, no, you can't headbutt in boxing.
No. She headbutted her and caught her right on the outside ridge of her, which eye was it? Was it her right eye? And I'm trying to think. Yeah, it was her right eye. And then the next round or 2 rounds later, she catches her with a punch in that same spot and kind of pulls it down more. So the fight, that chick just had this chunk of meat hanging off her eye.
Why wasn't she disqualified for that?
The original headbutt that caused the damage, you could argue was incidental. I don't think it was, because the bitch was leading with her head and we saw her purposefully headbutt several times. But yeah, incidental headbutts do happen, and they cause a lot of problems, especially if you get caught right there on that edge of your eye.
Yeah, but you can usually tell if it's incidental or on purpose.
Again, good boxing. Look, there's a lot of boxers who do that shit. I mean, even when Mike Tyson bites Evander Holyfield, he said the reason he did it is because Evander kept headbutting him. And if you watch, he kind of has a point. He was leading with his head a lot, whether he was intentionally trying to headbutt or hoping to get lucky with one, I can't say. But he was clearly leading with his head. So he got tired of it and bit him in the ear. Probably not the right way to handle that situation.
I mean, it's a solution, but not an ideal one, I would think.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, I'm just disgusted by what I watched tonight. I don't like walking away from boxing and having scorecards that were just like, oh, those are horrible. That's a bad enough feeling. But then to watch this be, now we know why Mike was like, I don't give a fuck about my legacy. He knew when he said that, like, yeah, fuck, I don't even care about it anymore. Don't even care about it anymore.
My legacy is $20 million, bitch.
Is Evander Irish too? He was that night.
No wonder that.
No, Irish people really do have a reputation as headbutters, especially in boxing. Man, fuck. Did Jake Paul work at an old folks home during COVID? He might have. You know, they always give names to fights like the Rumble in the Jungle and stuff.
Yeah.
I think they should go back and retroactively rename this one Sweating on the Oldie. Did Jake Paul pay the boxing league to put on this fight? No, he got paid for this fight. This was put on by some boxing promoter. The boxing promoter got paid. I've seen estimates as high as 250 million people watching this thing.
Yeah, they got a healthy viewership from this, from as much commentary I saw on Twitter.
Oh, yeah. Look, fucking people that I know have never watched boxing in their life were watching this shit and loving it until, that fight started. It was great for promotional things until that fight, until we actually watched the fight.
Well, I don't know. Everybody was bitching about Netflix.
Well, Netflix had a lot of problems. They're used to putting on, their own shows that nobody watches. So they were like, only 10 people will tune in. In their defense, they actually had it mostly working as the fight everybody really wanted to see came on.
I think my comment was accurate.
What's that?
I said they were busily typing in AOL codes from 1997 so everybody could watch it in 360 DP.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. I actually wondered if they would do that, just turn down the quality to at least make it work better.
A lot of people said it looked like shit, so that's probably what they were trying to do while they figured out how to fix it.
Who won? Jake Paul won, if you want to call it that. I do want to talk about even the scoring in that one pissed me off because one judge scored it 80-72, which is the correct score. That's a sweep for Jake Paul. And the other judges each gave Tyson a round. I'm like, no. The announcer folks, they have their unofficial scorecard, and they gave Mike 2 rounds, the first 2. I don't understand how they did that by when by the fourth round, Tyson had landed less than 3 punches around. That box number came up so we could actually see it. Yeah, and he landed. No, he totally won those first 2 rounds with 3 punches each. No. We need a better way to score boxing matches than judges, because man, they destroy the sport. They make it easy for the mob to fix things. I don't know if they still fix fights. I don't know if people watch them enough. But relying on people to be like, no, I think he won. It's just, there's too much ambiguity in it. And way too often you end up with just fights that there's no way they were watching the fight we all saw. Like that girl fight. There's no way they were watching the same fucking fight. Stopped watching boxing about 20 years ago. A lot of people did, Eagle, and it coincides with the end of what I consider to be the golden age of boxing. I've been a boxing fan since I was very little. I grew up in the days of Sugar Ray and Hagler and Tommy the Hitman Hearns. They were the real big ones. Roberto Duran, because those 4 men beat the shit out of each other, and it was great. But at that time, heavyweight boxing had really died off since Ali and George Foreman's Rumble in the Jungle. It still happened, and the heavyweight champ somebody would know his name eventually. But then Mike Tyson comes up, and Mike Tyson kicks off this golden age of heavyweight boxing. And as great as Hagler, Hearns, and all of those guys were, there's something about the heavyweight. These are the warriors who somebody's likely getting the fuck knocked out of them. And Mike comes on the screen just knocking everybody out. Remember how pissed people were in the Spinks fight when he knocks him out in a minute and a half and they paid $60 each for it? People were pissed because that fight ended so quick, but it made more people watch the next one. And then you go through,
I never understood that.
Go ahead.
You are paying to see possibly 10 seconds of fighting. A lot of those, they should do more to dress it up like wrestling does. Give it some flair, some pizzazz.
The hope is that it goes at least a few rounds, so there's an exchange rather than just a murder. You know what I mean?
A murder would probably make it more interesting, but I get what you're saying.
Thank you, Frank. I don't blame Jake for wanting to have an exhibition match with Tyson. Hell, I don't box, and I think that would be cool. I do blame Jake for spending $1 million on his boxing outfit. How are shorts, gloves, shoes, and an athletic supporter worth $1 million? Well, they actually explain that in there. There were diamonds sewn into it, so.
Jesus.
True story. But anyway, so you get Mike come up. Mike gets knocked out and goes to prison, and then you get a lot of great fighters in there with Holyfield and Bo and Lennox Lewis, and this great era of boxing that basically ends when the Klitschko brothers take over after Lennox leaves. And then we got Mayweather for a long time, and nobody likes to watch a woman beater run around the ring afraid of his opponent the whole time and be rewarded for it.
How do you really feel, Monkey?
That's the nicest I can talk about Floyd Mayweather Jr. But yeah, so Robin Gibbons was Tyson's Yoko Ono. Tyson's downfall, other than the prison thing, really comes from him cutting off the people who made him. The team that brought him to where he was gets cast off because Mike starts listening to some really stupid people. And I don't think you can really blame Robin for it. Let's just say there was some unscrupulous race-baiting shitbags who start whispering in his ear. And yeah, that was the whole downfall. And if the Douglas fight, they didn't even have the little metal thing used for keeping swelling down. They had no ice. They filled up a bag or a glove full of water to try to use as a compress. Yeah, they shouldn't have been involved. And Mike was young and dumb, man. Mike he didn't have a good upbringing. Like you mentioned, Jack, he's not a smart guy. He's not an educated man. And it was easy for people to take advantage of him. Thank you, FL. The only name in boxing I know is Butterbean. Butterbean. Butterbean used to be, 600 pounds, and he got himself down to 400 just eating butter beans. I didn't even know what a butterbean was when I first heard of Butterbean.
I didn't either. I thought it was a weird, silly nickname.
Famous at 16, champion at 19. He was champion at 20. Wasn't he? Wasn't it 20 when he won?
I hope you're not asking me. I hope that's rhetorical.
Was it Teddy or Gus who coached Tyson? Teddy did. Well, it's Cuss. Cus D'Amato was his first trainer. Teddy worked with him, and then after Cuss dies, Teddy takes over. Cus D'Amato dying is what really ended up leading Mike down all the bad paths, because the one person who'd ever actually looked out for him his whole life was Cuss, and he was gone. It's actually a great story, the two of them hooking up and the rise of Tyson and Cus D'Amato. But yeah, when Cuss dies, he's got no father figure in his life, and he hadn't had one really before that either. So he's rich, famous, and young, Jack, and without education or somebody looking over your shoulder for you. That's a bad combination.
Really is.
So really bad.
How many celebrities and sports stars have gone down that road?
Oh, so many. I mean, I was watching a thing with MC Hammer. MC Hammer was huge. That man,
until everybody spent his money.
Yeah, he was asked by Oprah. I think it was Oprah. What's one? Maybe it wasn't Oprah. Maybe it was Montel. I don't remember. But he was asked, "Is there one thing you bought that you think back, I shouldn't have bought that?" And he said, "Yeah, stories." I was like, ouch. Because everybody came to him with their hand out. And and Hammer was a preacher. He was a good man. Remember when he tried to reinvent himself as just Hammer? Came out gangster rapping with Tupac. Oh, Hammer. Don't hurt him, Hammer. Anyway, that's all I got to say about the boxing thing. I'm a huge fan of boxing, and what we just watched was fucking tragic. Just tragic. And Mike, don't fight again. You're going to get killed. You are too old to be taking shots to the head, dude. Only women can get away with that.
I see what you did there.
See what I did there? All right, let's move on.
You can't take headbutts, though.
No. Busted that poor lady's eye right the fuck open. And I can't believe they let that fight go on. I have never seen an eye injury like that where they let it go on, but they stopped the bleeding, which is why they usually stop the fights, because the blood gets in their eye and they can't see.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how they stopped the bleeding there, but they did a decent enough job where it wasn't getting in her vision. So good on them, I suppose. They're good at their jobs. All righty. Do I even have anything to talk about tonight? Yeah, let's watch this crazy bitch, Jack.
Okay.
It's always fun to watch a crazy bitch, right?
Generally speaking, yeah. When we're doing it, not by myself, though.
For the record, if this was a dude, I'd still be calling him a crazy bitch. That's not misogyny. It's just thoughts.
That's just science.
Thoughts on Bolts Bengals. They're playing in LA, and they, it's the Chargers. They should have home field advantage there, but they're playing the Bengals, and as bad as the Bengals have been doing, they are still a dangerous team as long as Burrows is their quarterback. I'm really hoping for a Baltimore kind of situation where they're winning through the whole game and then just piss it away in the last 10 minutes. But if I'm being honest, I think the Bengals win that game. Anyway.
I found out today that somebody that...
All right, you found out you're way too loud. Is that way too loud, or is that just my volume?
It was pretty loud, yeah.
And she's got some background shit going on, too. Sorry about that. Let's try here.
That I work with is
that better?
Yeah, much better.
Okay, good. Let's back
Is
that.
the-
Hey,
I found
shut
out
up,
today that-
bitch. I'm trying to make fun of you, but I got to get all of it. Seal, thank you. See that Alex Jones got Infowars back. I did not, but why? They're just going to take it from him again.
Some judge put a stay on the Onion buying it.
Okay.
It's not. I don't think it's done yet.
I mean, they're eventually going to take it from him anyway, so
yeah, it's just a matter of time. He's better off rebranding with a new setup.
Yep.
Try and move all the audience over there.
There's no doubt what they were trying to do in shutting down Infowars. This had nothing to do with, oh my God, you said hate at the Sandy Hook kid. No, it isn't. That was a lie from the beginning, and they're getting what they want. And unfortunately, I don't think there's anything you can do about it.
Yeah.
The Democrats have gotten very good at their lawfare bullshit.
Oh, yeah. Trump did announce his new press secretary today. Thank you, Mike.
I saw that. Yeah. I don't know her, though.
I don't know who she is either, but she's definitely a step up from Sideshow Bob. Physically,
yeah,
I mean.
Sure. Yeah. All right. Here's our crazy lady.
I found out today that somebody that I work with is a conservative, and he's somebody who's really intelligent, and he's somebody who works in climate tech as a super smart guy, somebody I would never have thought was conservative. And
Hey, sweetie, did it ever occur to you that this guy who you think is super smart being a conservative might make you look into why he's a conservative being so smart?
Working in climate tech?
Maybe he's a conservative because he's smart. Have you considered that at all?
No, she didn't. Silly.
apparently he is. And it's surprising and it's disgusting. But what's most surprising to me is the level of sudden hatred that I have for him.
You do any self-analysis on that?
Why are you okay putting this out into the world?
Because she's okay with hatred as long as it's directed toward a specific group. If you substitute conservative for Jew, a lot of these clips that we watch will be a lot more disturbing.
Fuck, imagine switching it for woman.
Yeah, or blacks, or
any
the
group.
gays.
Link, please. When we're done, I can ship it to you. I can't grab it while I have it full screen here.
Sudden hatred for this man who I used to respect suddenly just went boop, and I fucking hate him now.
That's not normal. Jesus Christ, what is wrong with you? I found out he's conservative now. I want to see him die. That is not a normal reaction.
It's not a healthy response.
Jesus
I mean,
Christ.
Oh, you're a liberal? Well, usually you can tell, but because they'll tell you. But then you're like, oh, I fucking hate you all of a sudden. No, that isn't normal. That's
Ebony
a very
says, lady,
thing.
Lady, you're a terrible person. You're not wrong, Ebony. All right. Who was it? Somebody told me, watch it with just the sound off and just watch her eyes. And we're still going to be watching with the sound on, but yeah, check out her eyes as we're listening to she got the crazy eyes and not the good crazy eyes.
Yeah, she's got Latitty eyes if you're an AP fan.
No, it's not about politics. It's
you found out he was conservative and it made you hate him. How is that not politics? She goes on to, you can see it on the screen, to say it's about morals. And even if you want to say it that way, it's still politics because you morally judge conservatives.
No, she's a good person. She doesn't do that.
Danger says being conservative is a political position, bitch. Yes, exactly. Not in her world. No. It's my morality. And this is another thing we've talked about with liberals. This is why I call it a religion, because it is. It's these are my morals, not my principles, which I can see where people would mistake those. They literally believe if you don't believe like they are, you are a bad person. You're evil. You're evil. But it's not politics. You're right. It's he was blasphemous.
It's not about politics. It's about morals.
Yeah, sure.
And if you are not a person of morals and you are educated enough to fucking know better, I think I hate you. I know we still have to get through life with these people. Like, at the end of the day, I still work with this man, but I'm not gonna hate him. I'm sorry. I'm gonna fucking hate him now, and that's just how it is. And tolerant, take a hike, because when it comes down to morals and ethics and giving a fuck about other human beings, if you're smart enough to know better, you're educated enough to know better, you are exposed enough to other people in the world to fucking know better, and you're still okay with electing evil, I'm not okay with you.
Oh, see, it's not about politics. It's that he's evil and he votes for evil.
This is insane. And she put this out into the world, and there's going to be tons of people who are like, you go, girl. You should be shamed for being this proud of being this hateful.
They used to do that, and then the 80s ended.
God damn, man. I watched this earlier today, and I was like, you need to be in a facility.
Deprogramming facility.
You need to be in an asylum, because that is insane. It's actually insane. Oh, we already covered that yesterday. We're always so far ahead of the curve.
Yeah. Well, we're pretty awesome. So
this is one we're going to read because we're more interested in J.K. Rowling's response to it, but we have to set it up with this from Aaron Reed, who, by the way, has a penis. That chick on the screen there, or at least was born with one, Jack.
Oh.
There's a push among organizations, moderate legislatures, and even trans people to give up the sports issue in hopes that it will stop hate. I've watched moderates try this in 23 state houses. It doesn't work. There's no amount of give you can offer that stops them from taking. You're the one trying to take. These are girls' spaces. We literally passed laws to give girls these spaces, and you're like, fuck them. I have a penis, but I'm a girl. It's mine. You literally stole it from women. What the fuck is wrong with you? But anyway, JK has a much more reasoned response than what I just said. Go ahead, Jack.
Instead of stealing from women, can we say we reclaimed our power?
Yes, that's exactly what it is. JK says, nobody's taking except you. You demanded that women and girls give up their rights and spaces to you. You insist there's no context in which a man shouldn't be considered a woman if he says he is one. Your aggression, entitlement, and overreach brought pushback. That's on you. Yep, 100%.
Yeah.
There's nothing she said there that's transphobic or mean or hateful. She's just stating the truth. You forced yourselves into spaces for girls. And while I think men should have our own spaces, and I have my own issues with feminists who destroyed that for us, I do think women should have their own spaces too.
Yeah, well, they used to have like Rotary clubs and shit like that, but all that stuff's gone now.
Yep. And I think we should at least be able to say the women's bathroom is for women, though, you know?
Yeah, but they want to make everybody a gender so that it's there's some sort of weird belief that if you abolish the idea that men and women are different, somehow everything will be hunky-dory and there won't be any sex pests or weirdos out there.
I think that it's the combination of actual weirdos and people who don't want to hurt anybody's feelings.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. It's just there's this bizarre crossover there.
Yeah.
Why are you putting an old hag on here?
Oh, I'm not. I'm putting several old hags on here.
Oh.
Now, if you know what happened with The View today, this is not that story. We'll get to it next. Eric Adams was on The View, Jack.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and the ladies thought that he was going to be all on their side on bashing Trump.
Oh no.
To his credit, I mean, Trump comes out and supports Eric like they're just trying to get you like they tried to get me. And I don't know how I feel about Mayor Adams. I really don't. Because there's some times where he's clearly just off his fucking rocker. I mean, he helped bring on the problem with immigration in New York. But then he saw what was going on and went, oh, fuck no, this is fucked up. This shit needs to be stopped. There's times he makes sense.
I think he didn't understand the scope of the situation until he got into office.
Christopher Gonzalez says Adams is a wild card. You know what? Yes. But anyway, so here we go.
So you heard us talking about.
Oh, let me turn that back up. I forgot to tell you to make me remember so that I would remember, and then I forgot.
Well, that explains why I forgot.
All right, sorry. I do that for me, people.
So you heard us talking about RFK Jr. being the head of HHS. What do you think about that appointment?
The executives will nominate and bring in those who they believe will move their vision forward. And everything from the fluoride issue, I believe we should have fluoride in the water based on what my experts are telling me. But let's be clear, there's a real problem with our food in our country. And
this is not the answer they want. He's a Democrat, and she's trying. What do you think he's supposed to come out there and say? RFK Jr. is crazy, and I can't believe he's putting him in there. He's a fucking lunatic, and Trump's evil. And that's just not the way he's going.
I mean, I'm kind of with him on this. There's a lot of concern about the preservatives that we put in our food.
Sure.
It's led to a spike in a lot of different types of cancer.
Yeah, what's the dye that no other country will allow in their food, but we put it in everything? It's why you can't have Fruit Loops overseas.
Oh shit, I don't even remember.
It's some red dye, and I forget which one it is. Is it responsible for anything bad? I don't know, but maybe we should look.
Yeah, there's definitely be some more testing done on that. I would think if everybody's banning it and they're not having the spikes we are, maybe we should look into that.
As for the fluoride thing, guys, I have not looked into it enough to have an opinion on it. I just want to be careful on that.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard that conspiracy theory since we were kids, you know, but I don't know how accurate any of that is. It's supposed to help your teeth. That's all I ever heard about it.
Yeah, they outlawed that red dye here in California. Okay. Look, I think I've proven that I just don't go with the government on everything or with conspiracies on everything. I think you got to dig into it and look and find the real facts. Got to look at both sides, see which ones make sense. And I just haven't done the research on this kind of stuff. So by bread tube standards, I should be talking about it as though I know.
Just go with Wikipedia. That's what Welsh does.
Thank you, Job for 9. Fluoride is linked to dementia. Again, with that, you go back and look at some of the stuff that we've done where it's like, oh, this was linked to something like DDT. They got rid of DDT. There's no link to that to anything actually bad.
No.
There is a direct link between mosquitoes and malaria.
Yes, I don't like that.
So again, correlation, causation, those have to be studied. But anyway, I do think it's funny they tell you don't swallow toothpaste. If you do, make yourself throw up and call the CDC. By the way, have a big glass of water with fluoride in it. I'm just saying. Somebody thinks it's dangerous somewhere. Anyway.
we need to watch what we're feeding our children. And
what is the major problem, do you think?
Too much hormones. You know, many people know.
Oh, he said hormones.
I almost lost my.
Yeah, he's got a weird accent.
Yeah. It sounded like you said too much homos.
It really did. Let's bring that back. So if anybody doubts that, it really does sound like that. And for the record, I don't think it's necessarily hormones. Because again, it depends on what you're talking about. The fact that the chicken's bigger doesn't mean that the chicken's necessarily bad for me. Talk about the preservatives and stuff, then we can probably talk.
To watch what we're feeding our children. And
What is the major problem, do you think?
Too much hormones.
Too much homos. You heard it here first. Eric Adams thinks the homos are the problem with our food supply. I thought that was funny.
I agree. Our food is fabulous.
It's like my hair.
You know, many people know my, you know, I almost lost my sight with diabetes.
Well, did you hear that? He gives his answer. And the cackling hens in the background, like, you know, it's preservatives. And you asked him, let him answer the question. Why are people like this?
Diabetes. The doctor told me I would be blind in a year. I was going to lose my fingers and toes. And it was my food. It wasn't my DNA. It was my dinner.
But JF,
I love that fucking line right there. Because that should be said to every fat fuck out there who's, I can't lose weight. It is not your DNA. It is your dinner.
I feel judged.
Look, I'm overweight, and I'm not overweight because I'm predisposed to being fat. It's because I eat too much, and what I do eat is crap.
Yep.
I'm not big bone, Jack. I'm fat.
Yeah, I don't have muscle tone. I have fat, so I pull fat sometimes.
I've pulled my fat a few times, especially in the muffin top.
Yeah,
you pull that fat. Oh, it hurts.
That hurts a lot. That fat does not like to be redistributed. So when you shift and you pull something, like, I don't have muscle there. I pull a fat. Your fat gets mad at you.
Peter says dinner. Right. We don't want to use a hard R.
Junior ate RFK Jr. ate some pork and now he has a brain worm. Is he the person that should be in charge of that?
One, people, make sure you cook your pork all the way.
Yeah.
But he ate pork and got a brain worm. Should he be in charge of foodstuffs? He went to a Chinese restaurant. He got food poisoning. Should he be talking about eating? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I'm not sure that she understands anything.
But this is her thing. This is her coup de grace right there. I got him. He ate uncooked pork. Good job, Sonny. She is such an idiot, man. I was watching Satsu today, and he live streamed over on his channel for the first time in a long time. And they were discussing who the worst is on the show for the story we're going to talk about later. And it was between Whoopi and Sonny, and me and Satsu were in agreement on this. Sonny is absolutely the worst person on this show. She is fucking horrible human being.
Yeah, she is pretty horrible human being. Yeah, I agree.
And really, really dumb.
Oh, yeah. Oh, she is super. All these women are super uneducated and dumb.
Yeah. Look, Sonny, to your point here, I won't take my pork cooking instructions from RFK Jr., okay? But what does that have to do with reading medical research on the effects of red dye 41? Do you have a brain worm by chance? Has Monkey not seen The View before many, many times? Sonny worse than Joy? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Joy is just a stupid repeater. Sonny actually tries to form thoughts.
Did I get cut off there?
Yeah, sorry.
No, that's fine. Not only does Sonny try to think for herself, but she will push even when she's been wrong and then just start yelling racism. She's a horrible race baiting hag, and she's stupid.
Yeah, well, let's right. And let's understand this also. In all of these agencies, there are thousands of employees and experts that
Hopefully not for long, but point taken.
understand these topics, and there are rules, there are regulations.
Mayor, a lot of them want to resign. When they see some of the people that are going to be on top, I think there's going to be a mass exodus of people who have the institutional knowledge and the institutional memory and DOD.
Well, I would hope so.
Oh, stop that. You're saying that because there was a news article written that said that yesterday. There was a news article saying that a whole bunch of people at the FDA were going to resign if Kennedy becomes the chief there.
Yeah. Yeah. But like I said, most of these people are just repeaters. They see it. They're like, yes, I will repeat that line.
For the record, those same rumors about the FDA and the National Health Organization, all of these different government agencies, everybody's talking about quitting back in 2016. You know how many of them did? None that you could actually point to and say that there was a turnover issue because of Trump.
Yeah.
Because these shitbags, they're not going to give up their government salary. They're cushy jobs where they're going to be lazy all day and do nothing. They're going to, instead, what they're going to do is they're going to go to work and bitch about Trump until Vivek and Elon fire him. Or recommend the firing and Trump does it. There was a post today, Jack, that said, you can't just kick out all the illegals without due process. Well, due process is just going, yeah, you're not from a country that we recognize as having a humanitarian crisis. Get the fuck out. It's really that simple. That would be due process. But he goes on to say that you can't just fire half the government without due process. I'm like, you're starting to stretch the usage of due process there, aren't you?
A little bit.
I forget the other one that he said that he had 3 things that you can't just do that without. Only one of them was legal with the illegals, and that's a really quick, easy due process thing. Why not? Because we do have the Constitution, which says you get due process, but when it comes to firing people, that's not what it is. Anyway.
At HHS, who wants to work under our cook?
And let me respond to that. If we love our country, then no one individual should take us away from our mission.
Yes.
If you dedicated your life to a particular place, I dedicated my life to law enforcement. So if a new commissioner came in that I disagreed with, I was not going to say, I'm going to resign. Let's love the country. Let's love our cities. Let's get away from the rhetoric of the professionalism that we know. Those are experts in this. They're going to look at his proposal, do a real analysis, and make these decisions. It happens every day.
That is not the answer she was looking for. And that's what I really liked about this clip. I'm pretty much done with this clip, but they keep trying to prod him to just rip into Trump and into RFK. And he's like, you bitches don't understand. Wasn't Kamala's thing country over party? Which is basically what he just said here, right?
Yeah.
If you believe in what the fuck he's making sense. Adams is not the horrible person most liberals are. He will surprise you on a lot of occasions. He's made some very, very bad decisions. But I don't think he's a stupid man. But I love that he's just not giving into their shit. And he's just like, no, that's not the right answer. You don't just give up.
He learned a lot with the immigration problems.
Yes, he did.
And he learned it the hard way.
Yep, because it never really made sense that he makes that huge swing. Be like, no, we will welcome him in. Because he was a law and order guy. The Democrats didn't like him as the candidate. Because he runs, with the summer of love, Jack.
Yep.
And they're like, fuck this guy. He's a policeman. We need to defund them all. He can't be stupid. He's a mayor. Who's that chick in Illinois?
Which one?
There's a lot of dumb mayors out there. I mean, he is the mayor of New York City, but there's a lot of people who get into positions of power who are fucking retarded. Kamala. But no,
Lori Lightfoot.
Yeah, he's not a dumb man. He has some bad ideas. But anyway, I just love that he didn't go along with them, and it was pissing him off, and it was funny. But they're all gonna quit. Look, that ain't the right way to be. Sometimes, they said the other day they want to bring in some Trump supporters to be on The View, Jack. A woman who's Trump supporter.
Yeah, they might bring a token one in who's still very left leaning. That doesn't mean anything.
I don't think it's even that. I think what they want to do is just have a punching bag.
Oh,
because they've done it before, even with like that Meghan McCain on there. And they treated her like shit the whole time she was eating her way through the set. Anyway, and she's not even a Trump supporter. She was just Republican. And that skinny bitch that they put all the way on the end and make sit next to Sonny, she's the most conservative person up there. And they even badger her constantly. Speaking of badgering, Jack, let's talk about the other story that happened there in The View. So it was Whoopi Goldberg's 69th birthday, and she made a joke about getting eaten.
Ew.
Yeah. I had to hear that fact, so I needed to share it with others. It's kind of like The Ring. If I don't, it'll come kill me in a few days.
Right? We've all been there, buddy.
So Whoopi pulls out these little cakes, and she's like, I love these little cakes. They're great. But I couldn't get them for my birthday. She's eating them on her birthday. And she goes, I don't want to name the people who did this, but I called up the bakery and ordered them, and they said they couldn't give them to me, probably because of my politics. That's not what the people said. She just inferred that that's what it was.
Of course.
And then she tells us, but somebody went down and picked some up, and we have them. Well, the bakery, the name got out there, and the bakery responded. And here's the real story, Jack. It's a very old bakery, and their equipment was broken down or barely working. And so they told her, no, we can't commit to making that for you because we can't promise you we can do it. That's it. That's the story. And that bitch went on TV and told people it was because of her politics.
I'm surprised she didn't blame race.
The reason Whoopi was thinking that is because that's how the left is. How many times have we seen somebody denied service because they were wearing a Trump shirt or a Trump hat?
Yeah, no, they do it to other people, so they expect it to be done to them.
Yeah.
Not realizing business is like money. They don't care who you are.
It's a super famous New York bakery, and the cakes are signature. So when she showed the cakes, she didn't need to say the name.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. But apparently a lot of people have supported that bakery. They just sent them a shit ton. The lady told a story about somebody sending $50 and saying, hey, give some cupcakes to a school.
Oh, that's cool.
Right? Oh, yeah. So they came out and supported the bakery because Whoopi Goldberg's a bitch.
Yeah.
Why would you even bring that up?
Because she's a spiteful old lady. That's why.
And this is how they act. How many times I got to tell you guys that when the left is saying, you guys are going to do this, it's because that's exactly what they would do?
Yeah. Almost every time.
And more often than not, we end up being proven right on that when they get the chance to do that very thing.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, what else? I don't know how much else I have today because I wasn't that. Oh no, we do need to talk about this one. So, Jack, IBM, Disney, Comcast, Discovery, Warner Brothers, and Lionsgate have all started advertising on X again.
Oh, it's shocking. It's almost like, since that's the largest social media platform or the most heavily used, that maybe they wouldn't advertise on that.
Yeah.
And that they were losing money, especially Disney's losing money so much on their shit product that they need the advertisements to be seen by more people.
Although Disney did announce their quarterly earnings and they came in above expectations and they did turn a profit. A very minor profit. And like I said on Twitter, they should probably send a nice Christmas card to Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, that's where their profit came from. Let's be honest.
But yeah, all of these companies. Do you remember what Elon said about them pulling their advertising?
They'll be back.
Nope. He said, fuck you. Literally said, fuck you. There's a great, it's not a panel. It was an interview on a stage. What do you call that? Town hall?
Like a presser?
No. It's just him and another guy. And he gave the guy an interview in front of a crowd.
Oh,
is there a term for that?
Yeah, I'm sure it's just an interview.
Okay.
They call them like discussions or something like that. An evening with
Elon telling advertisers to go fuck themselves. And it's epic. Because when he says it, you can hear a pin drop in that room. And the host is just kind of sitting there like, because what he was looking for is Elon to start begging or groveling.
Yeah.
And Elon was like, go fuck yourself.
Oh, he was so happy to say it too.
Yes, he was. And yeah, now they've all come crawling back. You know why? Because it's not a good idea not to advertise where most people are.
Yeah. More people are getting their news and information from X than they are from Facebook, which is heavily censored, and we all know it.
Yeah, and Elon is giving full credit to Linda, whatever the hell her last name is, or Lydia. What is her name? Linda.
I don't remember. The lady that's only minorly censorious.
Yeah. He gives her all the credit, and I'm happy for him because they've been through the shit, and the leftists tried to destroy Twitter. Have you seen how many of them are leaving Twitter again?
Yeah, they always say that, but they always end up coming back because they need an audience. They're so spoiled, and Threads sucks, and that Blue Sky is borderline crap. So what are you gonna do? You know, Brian Stelter and Stephen King are gonna come back because they need the attention.
Yep,
they need those accolades coming in.
After Stephen King ripping off a whole bunch of tweets in a row about "go fuck yourself, I hope you die" kind of shit. He then says he has to leave because this place is getting too toxic.
Yeah.
Lesser Logic says, I'm here late. That Tyson fight was a disgrace. He could barely move his legs, let alone fight with the injury. Yeah, and as a fighter, being flat-footed is a great way to get your ass knocked out. All right. I think that's all I brought, Jack. So I see we got a Zero Hedge article here. What? And it immediately opened an ad. Go fuck yourself. And a second one.
All
right.
To the,
oh no, it's cool. I've never had that problem with Zero Hedge before.
Yeah, it's fairly new with them.
Welsh government told to create dog-free zones in. I hate you.
I know.
Welsh government told to create dog-free zones in public areas to fight racism. Of course. You know, that headline would not be out of place in Medium.
Yeah.
Dogs need to go away because of racism. The Welsh government has been advised to create dog-free spaces in outdoor public areas after an anti-racist group asserted it's making Black Africans feel unsafe. Could you play to the stereotype more?
They probably could, but I don't think they really want to do that.
Why don't you just say they should create pit bull only spaces and just complete the fucking stereotype?
Yeah, have it located right next to a trailer park or a low-income council housing.
Fuck. Yes, really. The environmental group Climate Same has issued a report instructing the government to create dog-free areas in local green spaces as part of an anti-racist drive to make the country more inclusive. The advice was reinforced by another group, the North Wales Africa Society, which complained that one Black African female stated that she feels unsafe with the presence of dogs during a focus group meeting. One lady said she felt unsafe, and so dogs have to go away.
Like they do.
I just want to point out, nobody cared about John Wick's wife dying. Everybody was like, somebody better die over his dog.
Well, his wife was already dead at the start of the movie.
I don't think people would have cared either. I think if the movie started and the wife and dog got killed in that opening scene, people would still be like, they killed the dog?
Well, people do love their animals, and they're not big on other people. So
yeah. We love animals way more than we love other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, make dog-free zones out less. Fuck off. A third group called Green Soul. Sounds like the worst black supremacist movement ever.
It does, doesn't it?
They're all vegans and wearing hemp. Also warned that food growing groups are run by majority white British Welsh individuals and older white people, despite the fact that around 90% of Wales' population is white British. What were they expecting? 90% of the country's white. I'm going to imagine most industries are all white. I don't. I hate this race baiting bullshit.
Most of us do. Oh, real quickly. Thank you, Evolved Potato. This is all due to the Muslims. They hate dogs because they know dogs can smell the evil of their death cult. Yeah, they see dogs as unclean, and I suppose they eat them. I don't know.
The reports are in line with a consistent narrative that the UK countryside is essentially racist because ethnic minorities face barriers to outdoors created by exclusion and racism, reports The Telegraph.
Yeah, remember how we talked about hiking and being out in nature's racist?
Yeah, it's a white thing.
Back? Yeah, so that they're still holding on to that one.
I don't understand. Never mind. However, another focus group respondent pointed out that the green spaces are not respected in areas where there is a bigger population of ethnic minority people. Quote, ultimately, the Welsh government report, which will steer future policy, concludes that people of ethnic minority background in Wales face barriers created by exclusions and racism, according to the Telegraph's report. People having dogs in public is not keeping you from going in public. That's fucking retarded. And I thought racism nonsense here in America was stupid, but that is a whole nother level. Christ. Our National Enquirer story of the night. Seriously, I don't even take this site seriously. I can't even laugh at it anymore.
I can, mostly because of your reactions to what's being said and the heavy sighs that you give.
It feels like they're trying for parody, and they're just saying it's like a lot of the videos we saw after Trump was elected, and they're screaming. It's like, and you can see them stop right as they go to turn off the camera. Like, we know you were just putting on an act.
See, I think Medium is for the diehards that are not putting on an act. They're just this dumb.
I used to, but I've read too much of it. Dangerous, thank you. I love all the people who fight for inclusion by insisting that exclusionary practices be adopted. Hey, we're just kicking out the people with dogs. That's not exclusionary. Also, still incredibly confused how it's racist or what barriers there are for walking outside. Well, you see, that one chick was scared of dogs. That's how.
That's a barrier. See,
women, if your man supports Trump, pack your bags. Consider it a leave for a leave. I don't understand the picture that they've included.
I didn't get that one either, but I'm sure there's some kind of insane connection to it.
You know what it is? It's subtext that we won't get as not batshit insane liberals.
Yeah. It's like looking at the manifesto of a crazy Unabomber type.
Authors note this piece originally appeared in my Substack. Oh, great. They're spreading the Substack.
Of course
it's official. I've lost it. Weeks of hoping that Vice President Kamala Harris will win the election by a landslide is becoming by the hour harder to envision. When the fuck was this written?
Well, I've had some of these for a very long time, but
so this is before the election. Okay.
Yeah. There were 2 or 3 of them he sent me before that. He sent me either on the election or right after it, and wanted us to cover them, but we just didn't get to
them. The fact that this person was noticing a week before the election that she was probably going to lose is rather smart for a liberal, honestly. Because very few lefties thought that Trump was going to win this thing. They thought they had turned it all around and they were going to win. Watching the town hall in Pennsylvania the other night that the pussy Trump refused to attend. It's very funny for them to keep using that line when Kamala refused to go on the Fox debate or anywhere she wasn't guaranteed love. The closest she got was going on with Brett Baer, who, let's be honest, it's Fox. It's milquetoast at best.
Yeah. I mean, he asked good questions, but she still couldn't answer them. Like, even the softballs that he threw.
Yeah. And he doesn't really get any kind of like contentious with her until the end, right after the whole, you know what I mean. And he's like, I really don't. And then her people are like, we got to wrap this shit up because crazy bitch is being crazy. Again, I don't think it was a hard interview. I think she's just a moron.
Yep.
The idiots who declared that they're still on the... the pussy Trump refused to attend. I yelled at the TV like a lunatic. I have no doubt that's true. The idiots who declared that they're still on the fence make me want to go Michael Myers on them. I'm having a moment like when I watched that video for the first time earlier, Jack. Like, why are you okay saying this out loud?
I don't know, man. I had the same question.
You're talking about turning into a serial killer because people were like, I'm not sure who to vote for. That's not a normal reaction.
It's not a healthy one either.
Yeah, it's you need to be in an asylum. Chaos One, thank you. Wanted to say this a while back. All the women freaking out about Trump's win and them acting like he's going to chain them up makes me think of a famous anti-Trumper. Quote, rape is kind of sexy if you think about it. Just saying, for no reason in particular. Fair enough. Yeah, I think most people think rape is sexy. What? And the way she said it was so fucking creepy.
Yeah. Everything that woman does is kind of creepy.
Yeah. Anyway, where are we? The same tired questions over and over again. How many ways must Harris lay out her plans for improving the economy? Once would have been enough for any of us. I'm going to fix it is not a plan to fix the economy.
Do you have a plan to fix this? Yeah. What is it? It's a secret.
Or for strengthening the border. See my previous response. But the big one, the one that has me questioning the sanity. Oh God, this is going to be abortion, isn't it? Question the sanity of those women still perched on the fence is the abortion issue and the revocation of a woman's right to control her body if the bastard wins.
Her body, her choice, monkey.
Hey, sweetie, have you thought about the 4B movement to, prevent abortions? I support the 4B movement because it will reduce abortions, Jack.
Oh, yeah. I support it because a lot of those women are really ugly to begin with.
Hey, look, sometimes it's late and the bar's closing and all that's left is the fat blue-haired bitch and you really want to get your wiener wet.
Nope, it's not an excuse. It's not an acceptable excuse.
It's like a moped. It's fun to ride, but you don't want your friends to see it kind of thing. I love that. When I read that joke for the first time, I was probably like 10. I laughed so hard. So hard. And it's always made me laugh. Where are we? Ladies, what the hell is wrong with you? I won't spend time here attempting to dissect your psychological makeup. Instead, I'll speak to the women who support Kamala Harris, but whose partners refuse to elect a woman, especially a woman of color, to the... We didn't hire the white chick either. Can we all just admit that? We rejected the white chick first. If you're going to pull the race or sex card, the one that you want to pull is just the sex card, okay? It kind of reminds me of the whole Obamacare thing, Jack, because Hillary Clinton is the one who first floats Hillary Care, which is what eventually becomes Obamacare.
Yeah.
And it was widely rejected.
Yeah,
And then
it was garbage and it was so heavy-handed government.
Yep. And then Obama pushes it and people push back in the exact same way. And suddenly they were all racist. It's like, no, we didn't like it with the white lady either. Anyway, especially a woman of color to the highest office in the land. And by partners, I mean individuals of the male persuasion. What if their lesbian lover like Trump? No? All right. I need to talk to the adults in the room.
Oh, I'll be over here waiting.
I remember I was probably 15-ish when the movement started to stop calling your boyfriends and girlfriends as adults. Because it was this idea that makes us sound like kids. It's weird that that's where your brain went for something that humanity's been using for centuries. But if you think partner sounds better, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, you're just fucking retarded. Because it is literally the same thing. It's another one of those goddamn liberals changing words to make it sound like something different when it's the same fucking thing and making it sound more retarded. That's not my boyfriend. That is my partner. It's not my husband. That's my partner.
It's my partner. What are you going to do? Go fight crime?
Right.
Like, that sounds so dumb. If you're not in a professional capacity and you're out like being law enforcement or your business together, it's fucking dumb.
It's my partner.
It's
Fuck
my
off.
partner.
You sound retarded and you just are. Saying.
We need to treat that term the same way we treat the new terms for retarded. So, I'm cognitively disabled. It's just as bad as me going, I'm retarded.
Yeah.
It's all in the inflection.
Where are we? For you black men who are also undecided or worse, voting for a racist psychopath, what the fuck is wrong with you? Does your mama know who you are deep down? For shame. Hang on.
My mom loves me, for the record. She thinks I'm hilarious.
I look like a white girl to me. I can't tell for sure. I mean, her name is Sherry McGuinn, so chances are. But hey, white girl, did you really try shaming black men with their mama?
Chances are, because her name is Sherry McGuinn.
What are you going to do next? Call the police if one of them ends up in an elevator with you?
I mean, she probably would, yeah.
That's an Emmett Till joke.
Yes, it is.
I don't even feel bad about it. Here's what's been making my head spin. How is this election even a question? Well, because all elections are until they're done.
I mean, usually, except for the Hillary one.
We wouldn't need an election if it was already answered.
Fortified.
I mean, it's literally how the system works.
I mean, yeah, your facts have a place at the table. They just don't want to hear them.
We're talking about a tough, smart, accomplished woman who's going head to head with a convicted felon and rapist.
I'm sorry. Was he convicted of rape? Because I don't remember that.
No, he wasn't. And ask her what the felonies were. Ask her who the wronged parties were in those felonies.
Society, right?
Ask her if the jury got to hear about the Law and Order episode that she clearly stole her story from.
No, we don't talk about that.
Yet, to his base of inbred MAGA mouth breathers, Trump is a great guy who's just like them. I don't think Trump is like me.
No,
I think me and him have had wildly different lives.
Yeah, I wish I was a billionaire, but I don't have a gold-plated toilet.
No, but we agree on things like immigration and about Vivek Ramaswamy.
Yeah, because that guy's cool.
A real man of the people, except he's a billionaire who's probably never wiped his own ass.
Can you pay people to wipe your ass?
I mean, when you're old and infirm.
Yeah, but he's not that old or infirm. So if there's a job out there that is Trump's ass wiper, I want to be that rich.
To be the ass wiper or to get
to have an ass wiper. Because there's obviously a service for it.
Do you know how disturbing that thought is for me? To have somebody wipe my ass. You know, the whole thing about not touching the monkey butt is real, guys. I have a real thing. I do not like it. And one of the things that scares me about getting older is, getting to the point where somebody has to wipe you and stuff.
Yeah. I understand.
It really is a fear of mine. I don't know why a rich person would want somebody else touching their ass. It's weird.
Power. Like, I'm in the middle of a shit. Start wiping. I don't like you today, Pablo.
There are toilets that can do that. Don't get me started on the ass wipe toilets. We've had long discussions about those.
It's like a robot touching your butt now.
They have the ones with the water. It's not quite a bidet. They're much more advanced.
Yeah.
They even have warm water ones. Like I don't want water shot up my butthole.
Not with that attitude, apparently.
Except he's a billionaire. He's probably never wiped his own ass. Why is that where you go to with being a billionaire? Is that who you are? Maybe you were right, Jack, that I'm better than you kind of thing. That I would be like a billionaire who's never had to worry a day in his life about money. Well, I wouldn't go to who never had to wipe his own butt.
Yeah, but they're generally a bunch of sexual degenerates or perverts that do a lot of these commentations. So, especially in Medium, there's a lot of sex pest weirdos out there, perverts and whatnot. So, of course, they're going to go towards some kind of weird sexual thing.
The new band, Water Shot Up Your Butthole. Yes. I still maintain butthole is one of the funniest words in the English language.
That's true. And watery butthole is funny.
Watery butthole sounds like something you go to the doctor for.
Yeah, but it'd make a great thrash metal band, wouldn't it? Or punk band.
Why are you here? I have watery butthole, doc. I ate some of those chips. Fuck, I forgot the name of the fake oil they used to make. Olestra, is that what it was?
Oh yeah.
Remember the chips that would give you anal leakage?
Yeah. Oh my god, that was a big deal for a while. But yeah, if you're like, who's here to rock? Watery butthole. Bunch of people with the hands up in the air and lighters.
Power
ballads.
You know how some rappers and even some wrestlers have hand signals they give for themselves? What would the hand signal be for watery butthole?
You have to hold your hand up flat and then stroke it back and forth like you're doing a little wave, like you used to do out the car.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's
right.
a wiping motion. See.
Well, shouldn't instead of your hand flat, shouldn't you be making a circle with it?
No, because I think it works better if it's flat. Like then you can actually bring toilet paper in to wave back and forth.
Oh, lean. Thank you.
Yeah,
Been a while
lean.
since the whole anal leakage thing.
Yeah. Oh man, hearing newscasters say anal leakage was something.
I just want to point out for the ladies of the View, that was approved by the FDA.
Yeah, just because somebody bribed the FDA to approve something doesn't mean it's good for you.
Oh God, and don't even get me started on the opioids in the FDA. Where are we here? Except he's a billionaire, he's probably never wiped his own ass, and has nothing but contempt for the working men and women who keep this country afloat.
I did not see him do any contempt for the working man.
Motherfucker went and worked at McDonald's and jumped in a garbage truck. The closest Kamala got to ordinary people was a fake stop at a fucking gas station.
Yeah, and all that was staged and pathetic too. She doesn't want to be around the peasants.
Monkey had dinner with Vivek and now has watery butthole. Oh God. The time for a reckoning is waning, people. For those of us, at least use waning properly.
Well, word of day calendar.
For those of us who know what we're in for, with if Trump parks his bloated frame behind the resolute desk, we must use the little time we have left to raise our collective voices and convince those undecided idiots how dangerous he is. Yes,
it worked.
There's nothing that convinces people more than a bunch of screeching women.
Yeah, especially with their screeching nonsense, like blatant lies and nonsense they heard on MSNBC.
How evil, that's not even a question, and how he will trample on what's left of our democracy in a New York minute if he serves his purposes. Sorry, if it serves his purposes. Yeah. Look, you people on the left, you really don't get to talk about trampling on democracy, especially in this election.
Especially with Trump. Yeah. It's the ludicrous hypocrisy is shockingly pathetic.
Did you see Nancy Pelosi come out and try to claim that they really wanted to have a primary, but Joe kind of fucked them on that? Isn't it funny how everybody had great ideas after the fact?
Yeah, but we've got to revise history, for the good of all.
Rumble rant. The only one I have is the one about inclusion and dog walking, bud. Do I need to refresh this over here?
Hold
Hang on, I'm doing it now. Yeah, that's still the only one I got, bud. Where are we? Time for reckoning. Yeah. Oh, there we are. Now for you gals partnered up with men who support Donald Trump, my advice is to consider the idiom an eye for an eye. But instead, I'm going to suggest a leave for a leave.
What, like the aspirin to leave?
Once again, the notion of an eye for an eye has been completely misconstrued in our society. It's actually a call for restraint. It's you don't cut off a man's head because he took your eye. You take his eye. An eye for an eye.
Oh, that's crazy talk, monkey.
I know, right? But anyway, that's neither here nor there with this crazy bitch. If your man intends to vote for another man who holds women in such contempt that he sexually abuses them, brags about grabbing their pussies, and wants to control their reproductive rights, leave the bastard, because in his heart and soul, he's left you. What? Hey, that paycheck you're bringing home, all the love and support over the years, You've left me because you voted for Trump.
That's the mentality they actually have, though.
Yeah, you're not wrong. It's just insane. I don't know how you ever reach people like this, Jack.
You can't.
I don't think that you can.
No, you can't. Some people you just will never be able to reach.
Okay. As facetious as this sounds, it doesn't at all. This is not my intent. I'm not a fool. I disagree. For reasons I won't go into here, I wrote an essay last night, Jack, about wisdom.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I don't find too many people to be wise. And that's not being mean, because most people don't have the time to be wise or even the inclination to be.
Mm-hmm.
We have this idea that as you get older, you get wiser, experience is the greatest teacher, but most people never learn the lessons they should learn. It's why we can look at famous philosophers, and there's only a handful of them throughout the centuries.
Yeah.
It's not like Bob down the street was a great philosopher, because Bob was getting high sniffing glue. And there's a huge difference between intelligence and wisdom. Being a fool is the opposite of wisdom, not the opposite of intelligence. Dumb is the opposite of intelligent.
Yeah, there is a big difference.
Yeah, this woman is absolutely a fool. There is no wisdom in anything she's written. None at all. Especially when she's like, and I'm here to talk to women who have husbands. By the way, Negroes, you're fucking up too. Now back to the husbands. You're absolutely a fool. And by the way, she'll be a fool till the day she dies, because self-reflection is not something she's interested in at all.
Nope.
Dangerous, thank you. Firstly, not every woman supports abortion, lady. Secondly, most women need to be able to eat more frequently than they need to get an abortion. Also, Trump has done stuff for the little guys for years. True. But none of that matters because of an Access Hollywood tape. Where are we? I am not a fool. Yes, you are. I understand that bailing out of a marriage or committed relationship, especially if children are involved, isn't a cakewalk. So you're not even talking about just, a husband and wife. You're bringing kids into this shit too. I'm not a fool. Did you read the next sentence you wrote?
You may not be a fool, but you sure played the part pretty well.
But neither will our lives be if Trump is elected to a second term. Term, my bad. They'll be hell. Let that sink in. Our lives will be hell. Yeah, I watched that video. So, like Harris, you will have to do work. Can you point to the work she's done? I really want to know. I implore you to do it. Perhaps your guy sees himself as a manly man, much like Trump, who is anything but manly. He's a coward and a grifter who never had to work for anything his whole sorry life. Surprised she didn't bring up the butt wiping again. Sit your dumbass man down. Yeah, that always works. And remind him that Trump has failed at everything.
That's why he's a billionaire, because he's a failure.
If he's failed at everything, why was Kamala bitching about his tax cut?
Yeah, why was he president before if he's a failure?
How did Roe get overturned? He's failed at everything. He's a failed businessman who had declared bankruptcy several times. We've been over the whole bankruptcy thing. It's not, you're a normal person and you got in too deep in some credit and you have to declare bankruptcy and they come and take your card. That's not, it's a restructuring. It's mostly to make your debt, mostly the interest on your debt, cheaper. Where are we? And is known for stiffing people who worked with and for him. Yeah, how many of those lawsuits has he lost?
Hey, fact.
There's a couple. And look, it happens with all business, but most of them no. He's failed as a husband by cheating on each of his wives, even while his current trophy wife Melania was pregnant with Barron. This is gonna piss some people off. That doesn't mean he failed as a husband. It means he's a flawed man. There's ladies, why is that the be all end all? You try to have it both ways, where it's like sex is not that important, okay? It's not that important. But if you do it with anyone else, I'm gonna kill you in your sleep.
Yeah, but when women cheat on men, it's because he wasn't giving her something she needed.
Yeah.
But when he cheats, it's just he's an evil bastard.
Men see sex as important, so when they're cheated on, I understand them being mad about it. But women will, no, sex is not the most important thing. But don't do it with anyone else. And it is a failure. It is breaking your marriage vow, but it's been happening since the beginning of marriage. So fuck off, okay? That's between him and his wives. Why is that your issue? I don't think you shouldn't vote for Nikki Haley because she's a whore who fucks every dick that's around when her husband isn't. That's just something to laugh at. I don't think that would make her a bad president, Jack. Fuck, it might make international relations better, at least for a little while. Yeah, it's just something to laugh about. It's not the reason you shouldn't vote for her. It's all the other shit she says why you shouldn't vote for her. It's the other things she does with her mouth, Jack.
Yeah.
Finally, The Guardian reports that Trump is ranked as the worst president in history, but most of us already know that. That is not done by anybody objective. I'm sorry.
Yeah, The Guardian, first of all, British paper. Fuck off.
Well, they went and asked some very liberal historians at liberal colleges who's the worst, and they all settled on Trump. Apparently, the Carter years never happened.
Yeah.
I would even argue there have been some worse than him. But anyway, ask your partner if Trump is someone to look up to. If he replies in the affirmative, you got to go, because that's a twisted mindset. If your partner looks up to Doug Imhoff, you should probably go because he's going to whip your ass. What is Trump going to do? Cheat on me? If all else fails, announce your plans to back away from a relationship where your well-being is of so little importance that voting. Do you realize the manipulative shit you're trying to pull here?
Oh, yeah. The emotional blackmail is off the chart here.
I saw so many people with this shit. And so many of these women, if you don't do what I tell you to, that is manipulation. I'm not going to give you this. It's extortion is what it is. And fuck you for doing it, especially over voting, for fuck's sake. Where are we? If all else fails, announce your plans to back away from a relationship where your well-being is of so little importance that voting for a treasonous, felonious con man is preferable to living and loving freely. This chick wants to cheat on her husband.
Oh, yeah.
In a democracy where women can choose what to do with her body, whether that be to raise children or kittens. Who's stopping you from raising kittens?
Trump.
What, are you in New York?
Trump. He was like, limit 5 per house. And she's like, no.
Is my tone too harsh? Too bad. I'm sick and tired of attempting to fathom people's stupidity. Preaching to the choir, sweetie. And no, I'm not alone. Women, tell the men folk how you feel and keep it cool, because if you're with the kind of guy who supports a sick bastard like Donald Trump, chances are his response may surprise you and not in a positive way. Why'd you end that sentence with a comma?
Patriarchy?
State your case and leave it at that. And if polite discourse doesn't work, you know what to do. A leave for a leave. But please, We don't have much time. Put on your big girl pants. Tell your man how you feel. Do it now. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, God, women don't understand men at all.
Nope.
You really would have been better off going like, if you don't vote for Trump, I will give you a blowjob every night for the rest of our lives. Saying, if you don't give me what I want, I'm going to nag you. Not a good strategy. Let's see, what other articles does she have up here? While you and I struggle to create quality work for Zip, a bimbo makes 200 grand from farting. Huh. That's an interesting story there, Jack.
Yeah, well, perhaps be more attractive than maybe somebody will want to huff your farts, weirdo.
No shit. Guys are weird. They'll pay for some weird shit. I don't know why.
I never figured it out, but people are strange.
If somebody said, which would you rather have, money or to smell a pretty girl's fart? I wouldn't even hesitate. It's like, give me the money. Why give me that?
Well, why is that a choice? But there's a lot of degenerates out there. You're into some fart huffing or something. You do you, but don't involve me in it. It's gross.
Just reminds me of the kid with the cookie versus the money, and he's like, yeah, give me that cookie. Frank, thank you. They don't understand themselves. How are they supposed to understand us? I mean, I think they understand themselves better than we give them credit for a lot of times. I don't think a lot of men understand themselves either. But point taken. Point taken.
Unfortunately, with a lot of these lefties, they don't like what they see when they see themselves, so they're angry. And instead of working on themselves and becoming better people, they just want to blame everyone else for their problems.
Self-reflection is not big for most people.
Yeah, it's not easy to do.
No. And especially, people think they're doing it, but it's not honest. You have to be honest about it. And it's hard to be honest about yourselves, to point to your flaws and be like, oh, yeah, that was me. That was me. I fucked that up. Breaking, Kamala Harris may now win Bucks County, Pennsylvania, after everyone thought Donald Trump would win it. New ballots are being counted for Kamala, and the gap is now just under 300 votes.
Yeah, I bet they're due.
This was posted around 6 p.m. today. This is the 15th, right? Yeah. Well, yesterday was.
Yeah, yesterday was. Yeah.
So Friday, let me put it that way. Yeah, that's Bucks County, though. That's where they're counting votes that they're not supposed to be counting.
Well, they said new.
Bullwinkle, thank you. The most amazing thing about November 5th is they still do not understand how they lost. I think it's more than one thing. And I see a lot of right-wing people out there. This is why they lost, and some of them are wrong too. But at least they're looking at actual things. I saw Jon Stewart's thing where he laid it out, and he said, people are saying we lost because we went too woke. And he goes, but that's not what I saw. And then he plays some commercials with people going anti-woke, Democrats. Like, I'm not going to let girls or boys into your girls' sports. Real quick. Thank you, Dangerous. You know, the funny thing about their view of Trump's bankruptcies, in their mind, Trump went broke. It makes his return to being a multi-billionaire in such a short time even more impressive. Right. I mean, by their telling, he's become a billionaire like 15 times. But anyway, yeah, Jon Stewart, he shows these, and they're like, okay, they're running away from the wokeness because they saw the writing on the wall.
Yeah.
Some of the people who were going like, no, I would keep boys out of girls' sports, voted to let girls be beat up by boys in sports.
Mm-hmm.
Them pretending that they're not woke is not the same as them not being woke. That'd be like me coming out and going, I never eat sugar. If you just take my word for it, you're real dumb because I've talked about all the sugar I eat. Oh yeah, they weren't being woke, so it's not that, you guys. And right wingers out there, I need y'all to listen to me. Don't correct them. Let them think that they're on the right side of that shit. Because I really need them to take another ass whipping. It'll be funny as fuck if 2026 is a bloodbath electorally.
Oh yeah, that'd be hilarious.
If the Republicans get a supermajority in the Senate and take over the House in a massive wave, it'll be fucking hilarious. But yeah, with this thing coming out of Bucks County, I mean that you can't look at that and actually rely on it. I saw a thing, the Cook Report, I think is what it's called, said Donald Trump has dropped below 50% of the popular vote, and votes are still coming in. It's technically true, Jack. He's not over 50% of the popular vote, but he still won the popular vote. He's still up by like 3 million votes with some votes left to count.
Well, some of the votes coming in are going to be for him.
But the reason it's under 50% is because Jill Stein and all the other people who ran did get some.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. It's not like Clinton in 92 and 96 where he didn't come close to winning a majority of the popular vote. Or sorry, what's the right word there? 50% plus one. Anyway, I think we're going to wrap up here. We're at the 2-hour mark. If you guys didn't watch the fight tonight, don't. It wasn't really worth it. Again, the Barrios Ramos fight was fucking awesome, and it was kind of the last 6 rounds. The first 6 were kind of boring. The girl fight was girls fighting. Democrats are still stupid. Anything I've missed? The View is full of ignorant women who want a Trump supporter to beat up on.
Yeah, look, The View is full of herpes. Dog parks are racist.
Dog parks are racist. I forgot that part. And that is important for us to let folks know.
Yeah, if you're in Wales, your dog park is racist, you bigot. You forgot one important thing is we're pretty awesome.
We are pretty awesome. I thought that spoke for itself, though.
Yeah, sometimes we need to say it because it feels good to say.
This is not something we're going to spend any real time on, but just there is a lot of stuff going on apparently with Nick and the guy he cucked. Aaron. Yeah. Apparently, it's been alleged that Nick was breaking into Aaron's computer and releasing information from it. Even I'm just sitting back going, what the fuck is going on?
A whole lot of shenanigans, apparently.
So, yeah, Nick Rekieta, sorry, guys. It's just weird, and it's deeper than I want to dive into. So I thank the people who are still sending me the updates and stuff on it. But at this point, it's really like, this is a dumpster fire inside of a bum's asshole. What the fuck is going on?
Dude, I don't know, but now Ralph's got a warrant out for him for what is it, witness intimidation or something?
Yes,
supposedly.
I saw the clip on it, and what? These are grown ass people.
These are people old enough to know better because they almost all have kids. Like Ethan Ralph's got like 2 or 3. Nick's got like what, a football team,
Yeah.
And Aaron, I think he's got 1 kid. Like, you all have children. Grow the fuck up. Stop breaking into people's online accounts because somebody didn't log out. Supposedly Nick lost his law license. And Ethan Ralph making threats against people. What the fuck is wrong with you people?
Oh, speaking of adults who are acting like fucking dumbass kids, did you see the one, I think it was a CNN reporter who said on the air that when Matt Gaetz was announced as the AG, as you walked through the halls, you'd see reporters crying and comforting each other.
Why?
Because apparently they were really, really sad about Matt being named AG.
Who fucking cares? I mean, like, I know it's an important job, but why are you this emotionally attached as a reporter?
You're grown-ups. Why are you crying over it?
There's no crying in journalism, you baby.
I
It's not like they found out they live on a toxic waste dump.
It was just insane. And she had no shame saying this. She was like, yes, that's perfectly normal.
It's perfectly
You should
normal
not-
to be an emotional basket case reporter.
Right. You shouldn't be crying over something like that. And all I could think when I read it, because of course it was a female, and I'm not saying all the people who were crying were female, but chances are many of them were. And oh, here, you know what? I have the clip. Let's
watch it.
It's short, guys. I know I said I'm wrapping up the show, and I really am.
There's no song. You're fine.
Sorry, we talking about your adults, for fuck's sake. Made me think of it.
No, they all know the rules. You don't leave until Monkey sings.
That's right. And yes, this is CNN.
Doesn't mean you can't be attorney general, but he's not going to receive a very warm welcome from the career folks there. We've seen people today, our fellow reporters, crying, hugging in the hallways. I've gotten sources from
all I can think is you're offended that there are people out there like maybe a woman shouldn't be president. I mean, I don't want somebody who's going to cry over a nomination. I could maybe get it if, they were tears of joy because somebody that you really liked got nominated. But even then I would judge it kind of harshly. Like it's not that big of a deal.
It's politics. It's not sports. Also, we have a very memeable image on the screen. He's pointing right at the reporter.
Yeah.
Like
he's
saying
some
word bubbles in there.
This bitch crazy.
Yeah.
We've seen our colleagues crying and comforting each other over Matt Gaetz. Do you think, like, when he won re-election, they cried a little bit or, like, missed it up a little bit? Or was it okay when he was a member of Congress helping to make laws? No. It's when he's the AG and in charge of enforcing those laws that it's time to cry.
Oh, they're all going to be put in handmade outfits. Oh.
You know what I've learned over the years, Jack? We don't have enough popular fictional works.
So true.
And
people need to read more.
Really do. They really do. About to send you a Rumble rant. I'll let you know if it comes through. I'll read it. But yeah, that one, I don't know why it never came through. I know you sent it eventually, and I did get it, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, crying over a nomination, and no shame in saying that. I'd have been like, "Did you see them bitches crying?" And she says it like it's totally normal.
Yeah, that'd have been more newsworthy than what they were babbling about.
Oh my God. Do you believe that he got nominated? He's not even fucking confirmed yet.
Yeah, reporters used to go into like war zones and not cry like bitches, but Matt Gaetz gets nominated, and oh my God, here come the waterworks.
Oh my!
Not like dead children in Bosnia or anything like that.
These people. Oh yeah, I did see that too. Geraldo Rivera said he threw up when he heard. It made him vomit. Are you sure it wasn't Montezuma's revenge?
Yeah. Geraldo's kind of a dick.
Thank you, Dangerous Spaces. What the fuck, lady? I've had less crying at my workplace, and I look after 4-year-olds. Crying over witnessing extreme events as a reporter? Fine. Crying over a political appointment? The fuck? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hell, Jimmy Kimmel cried again when Trump got reelected.
Jimmy Kimmel's a crybaby. He's like John Boehner.
These are not things to be crying over. You're adults, for God's sake. I know we're not supposed to say it, but man the fuck up.
We live in soft times, man. We have soft people trying their damnedest to get World War III going so they could cry about that.
No shame in talking about crying over a political, not even an appointment, a nomination. Get fucked. Anyway, with that, we are going to wrap up. Guys, thanks for coming and hanging out. Thank you so much for the donations. You're so kind. Jack, anything you want to show?
Nope, I haven't finished anything in a while. But thank you guys for the donations. You're awesome. Stay sexy out there.
We've seen the reaction from women be crying and screaming and saying they're never going to have sex when Trump is president. None of that makes women look good. None of it. It makes you seem like emotional basket cases. Who's advising women these days? They have the worst PR team in history.
I know.
Anyway, Jack, a pleasure as always.
Always glad to be here.
Take care of yourselves, guys. We love you. We'll see y'all next time.
Bye, everybody.
Apparently, the black Africans don't like the doggies, but the Haitians do.
For dinner.